Let's look at how we can use the RBD procedural so that we can save on resources when rendering inside of Solaris. So I'm going to set this up with a couple of different setups. I'm not going to use what you saw for the intro animation. This is the exact same method that I used for that, but that intro animation is quite heavy for the scene. So I'm going to do this in a lot simpler of a scene, but if you want to check that out and how that was built, I'm going to be posting that on my Patreon in the coming days. But let's start off with a SOP create, and we're going to, like I said, do this in a couple of different ways. So first of all, we can do this with a fractured geometry, so something that falls or whatever it may be, and it fractures and goes all over the place. Or we can also use this for something like, let's say, balls just interacting and kind of bouncing off of each other and having that general RBD interaction or that rigid body interaction. So let's start off with the fracture. So I'm going to drop down a sphere. I'm going to move this up to start off with, and then I'm going to add a name node, and we're going to set this attribute to be path. And we're going to keep this on a primitive, and then we just need to name this whatever we want. Let's call this sphere. And all that's going to do is if we come back to our USD scene, we're going to have this set as the path here. So that sphere is going to be our top level here. It's going to be that mesh. Now let's go ahead and drop down a RBD material fracture. This is going to just fracture our geometry here. And all we need to do is come to this constraints, and let's drop this glue constraint down quite a bit, something like 10, so that this actually fractures when it hits the ground. And then we can drop down that bullet solver, and we can come to the collision tab here, enable a ground plane. And if I jump back to frame 1 and press play, now we have our object fracturing and falling all over the place. So we need to do a couple of things from here. First of all, we need to take a look at our output points. So let's drop down to null here. Let's wire in our last input. Let's call this out PTS. And if we look at this, we have a bunch of points here. If I scrub through here, they're going to fall down. They're going to hit that ground plane, and they're going to fall all over the place. So these are going to be in correspondence with each of the points that we have on our, or each of the pieces, sorry, that we have from our simulation. And they're going to contain all of the different attributes that we're going to need in order to make this work. So we'll leave this as is here. Then we need to take our material fracture, and we're going to use an attribute swap here. And we're going to take this and set this to not be a point, but a primitive attribute. We're going to take the name, so the different names of each piece, and we're going to change that to be piece name instead of name. So now if we look at our attributes here, we have a name. We also have a piece name here. I'm going to set this over to move so that we get rid of that name attribute because we no longer want that. We want this piece name because that's what's going to be used on the actual procedural. So let's go ahead and jump up here. I'm going to make another SOP create. Let's dive inside here. We're going to drop down an object merge. And let's go ahead and just grab those points. And if I jump back up, we can drop down the RBD procedural. And let's take a look at what this is actually needing. So we have this RBD primitives. Let's go ahead and wire in our sphere to that. And then we need this point primitive, which is going to be the points that we have. And let's actually come back to this SOP create, and let's change this import path to, let's say, RBD underscore points. And if I look here, we actually have a ton of different points here, which is not what we want. So let's come back into this SOP create. And what we're going to do is we're going to line up the names on the individual points with this piece name. So this piece name attribute that we see here is the default attribute that it's going to look for the procedural. So if I come to our points, we have this name attribute. So what we need to do is align that with where our piece name attribute is going to lie on our other geometry. So that's going to be under this /sphere, which is what we set here. And then it's going to be for each point, whatever the piece is on the primitive. So it's going to be basically this path. So /sphere / and then piece, whatever this is. So let's go ahead and set that up on our points. Let's drop down attribute wrangle here. And what we need to do is let me actually pop this out and make this bigger. So we'll do s at piece name is equal to, and then I'm just going to hard code in that sphere path. So sphere, and then we'll do plus, and then let's do s at name. If I look here on our points now, we have this piece name attribute, which is going to point in our tree, our geometry tree, to where those pieces are going to lie. And we do actually have this name attribute still, which is what's actually causing all of these individual pieces to be broken out into their own separate points. So let's get rid of that. Let's do an attribute delete. And let's get rid of that name attribute. Now we just have one point basically, or one point that corresponds to all of our different points. So let's come back to this RBD procedural. Let's go ahead and drag that point into our point primitive. And you can already see that this is taking effect here. So if I jump back and press play, and we have our geometry aligning with the simulation that we already set up. So let's go ahead and set this same thing up for a simulation that has our objects just not fracturing, just as individual objects. So let's come back in here. I just made a copy of all of those because we're going to use a lot of the same stuff. Let's go ahead. I'm going to take this stuff. I'm going to just delete out some of this. Let's go ahead and just cut all those wires for the moment. Let's drop down a grid. Let's move this up, let's say 3. Let's drop down a mountain node just to give this some variation to where we're going to scatter these points. And let's drop this down quite a bit for the moment. We only need a few. You can have as many as you want, but we're only going to use a few for this. Let's do copy to points. Let's wire in our sphere and then our points here. And that should be good. Then we're going to wire in this into an RBD configure. Let's kind of move these out of the way. And that should be all we need to do for that. So let's take a look at our simulation. Let's go ahead and press play. And we have our spheres kind of falling and moving around. Let's go ahead and actually, let's crank up this even a little bit more. You can see that we get some different interaction there. And we could wire in a height field. Let's actually do that just so that we have even more variation. So let's do a height field. Take a look at this. Let's do a HF noise. Let's do a HF transform. And we're going to just scale this down. Sorry, not height scale, but uniform scale. Down quite a bit. Let's maybe do 0.3. Let's drop down this noise quite a bit just to give us something a little bit more bumpy. And then we can come to our ground plane and let's wire in null here actually. Let's do out HF. Oops. And we're going to come to this. Let's set this to a height field. And let's go ahead and just wire that in. So now if we come back to our bullet solver here, let's press play. A little bit slower, but we get some movement here on our spheres just to give us something that's a little bit more, appealing for the moment. And then what we need to do is we need to take our initial points here. So our initial position, we're going to drop down a connectivity node. And we want this to not be the name attribute. We want this to be a piece attribute. And we also want this to be a string, and we'll leave this as piece here. And then what we're going to do is take the name attribute that we had, or sorry, the name node that we had earlier, if I can type the right thing. Let's set this to path again. And then we can just set this as that sphere again. So / sphere, even though it's spheres, or we can do spheres, whatever works. And then we're going to take this attribute swap here. And again, we need to, instead of taking the name, we're going to take that piece attribute, which should be on our primitives. So this should be on primitives, not on the points. So let's take that piece attribute swap. If we look at our primitives here, now we see that we have some different pieces. Should see different pieces, yep. And then that path there. And we still have our points here. So if we look at our points, you can see that we have our points that are going to fall and move around. If we look at our procedural here, let's go ahead and set this up properly because we named these different. So instead of sphere, we need to, we've got this SOP create that has all of our stuff here. So let's set this back to our actual spheres. And now we need to just make sure that this lines up here for our primitives. And we should have this set to spheres as well. And now we have the points moving around. So I can go ahead and press play. You see we have our points kind of moving around. We still have that interaction, just like everything we set up on the other one as well. So a couple things to highlight here. Again, we want to use the piece name attribute. So that needs to exist on the primitive level. Here on our geometry, we need to have our path. We need to have a piece name attribute on that is going to correspond with our pieces. And you need to also have that attribute correctly put onto your points as well. So we output our points, and then we need to have that piece name attribute with our path appended to the different pieces. So these need to correspond to the pieces that you're wanting to move around. So it is also important to note, if you're going to use this for this type of a setup here, you cannot, if I were to take this SOP create, if I wanted to use this where we're going to have these individual pieces moving around, or even if you're doing it the other way, these need to be where their initial positions are going to start from. So if you do like a point jitter or something after this, for whatever reason, or actually we'd have to move these. Let's just do this. Jitter. Let's move these points around. So you see we've moved these points to start off with here. If I go ahead and play this, you see that this is all going to be messed up now. So it needs to be aligning properly. You see this is all sorts of weird movement. It's not going to work properly. So make sure that they are in the correct starting positions. Otherwise, it's not going to work properly. That should be, common sense with this, but it is something that I wanted to just point out just to make sure that everyone understood that it's going to align with where these are going to start on their initial frames. So anyways, hopefully this has helped you out. Like I said, this is the exact same setup that I used on the intro animation. This is all I use. It's probably not the most ideal setup for the specific animation that I was working on, but I wanted to use it so that I could learn actually how to use this RBD procedural. So it helped me figure this out. So that is going to be, like I said, coming to Patreon in the coming days if you want to learn how I set that up, that entire simulation and scene. It is an RBD simulation advected by the flow solver from Cops. So it's kind of a cool setup, but take a look at that if you're interested. Anyways, hopefully this has helped you out. If you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the comments. Anyways, thank you guys for watching and have a good day.